Hello and welcome to another tier series race. This week I've actually enlisted the help of Fabien, the yoga instructor from GTA 5 single player, and you'll see later on in this video exactly why it is that I've enlisted his help. For now though, the focus is on qualifying, and going into this round I actually thought, you know what, I might have a decent chance of fighting for promotion here. And that was mainly because the lap times that I'd been doing during practice, they were sort of somewhat competitive with some of the tiers kind of above me. It looked as though the lap times I was doing were sort of somewhat competitive with the shafters, with the LG Retro Customs, maybe even some of the Jesters as well. And so I was reasonably confident going into this round that if everything went well, I might just be able to fight for promotion. And that was then compounded by the fact that at the end of qualifying, I finished in 10th position. So that meant I would be starting the race in 10th position, and with 21 people starting the race, that meant that I was starting the race in the top half of the field. And as we know with this tier series, if you finish the race in the top half, you get promoted for the next round. So we're just waiting for the start of the race, and we're in a strong position, so hopefully we can just have a nice clean start to the race and push forward from there. I said I wanted a nice clean start to the race. What was that?
Namaste.
Namaste, Fabien. Okay, you know what? Let's just chill out a little bit and see if we can recover any of the lost ground.
Hold your anus strong, my child.
Ah yes, Fabien. Wise words. Wise words. Okay, this is starting to look a little bit better. We're now up into 12th position, which is only one position away from where we need to be in order to promote, because in this race with 21 people in the race, the cutoff for promotion is 11th position. I swear to God.
In through the bloated nose and out through those wrinkled lips.
Okay, thank you for the advice, Fabien. So clearly that accident was my fault, which is why I told the other driver to go. I just turned across him, and yeah, he didn't really have much choice in the matter. It's clearly my fault. But yeah, that has put us back down the field again, which is unfortunate. So it does mean that if we want to promote, then we've got a long way ahead of us. So we're coming in for our first pit stop, and actually Alex behind us decides to extend the stint by one more lap. I decided to come in for this lap even though I knew that I just about had enough fuel to do another lap. I decided to come in because I didn't want to have that battle with the Jester. I thought that would probably slow me down more. So that's why I've come in the pits, but Alex behind has decided to extend by another lap. So that's our first pit stop completed, and with a clear road ahead of us, we're looking to try and get a quick lap in order to solidify our position ahead of Alex.
Did someone say yoga?
So despite that crash, we did actually hold onto the position ahead of Alex, although it was much closer than it needed to be. So we're in now for our second pit stop, and once again I've played it a little bit more on the cautious side. Again, I had worked out that I probably could have just about gotten away with another lap, but it would have been close, and running out of fuel at the end would have cost more time than any potential time gain there would have been from coming in on the next lap. So I've played it cautiously. Alex, however, has decided to extend again, so we'll see how that plays out. So I've just finished my second pit stop, and as you can see I filled up with 39 litres of fuel, and the way that I calculated this was that I knew that to complete a lap it was roughly 8 litres, maybe slightly over 8 litres, but I rounded this up for safety to 9 litres, and with 4 laps remaining, so lap 13 to 16, that's 4 laps, that was 36 litres in total. And then because there was a little bit of a gap between the pit lane and the start finish line, I added just a couple of litres on as well. So I ended up leaving the pit lane with 39 litres, and that should definitely be enough to get me to the end. However, Alex, who is on a slightly different pit strategy to me, they've been playing their fuel game very aggressively, and so with only a few laps left, we're going to see how that ends up playing out. So that right in front of us, who's just exited the pit lane, that is Alex. And so although our goals of promotion are out of the window at this point, that's no longer a possibility for us if we're being realistic about things, we can still at least try to finish first out of the bullets. And so in order to do so, I'm going to have to catch up to him and then try and make an overtake. And with only 2 laps remaining of the race, that's going to be quite a challenge. So it was that brake boost right at the end on the last lap that has actually enabled us to overtake Alex. And that brake boost was actually one that I was trying and failing to get for most of the race, really. In fact, for certain parts of the race, I actually gave up on trying to go for it because it just didn't seem to be happening for me. But given that in order to try and make an overtake on the last lap, it was probably my best chance, I decided to go for it one last time, and yeah, just when I needed it, it finally paid off. And so yeah, that enables us to overtake Alex for the top position in the Bullet GT category or tier for this race. And yeah, it was although the race didn't go as planned, didn't get promotion like I would have liked, we at least get something out of the race. And actually it turns out that that brake boost probably wasn't necessary anyway to make the overtake, because actually I mentioned that Alex had been playing quite an aggressive strategy with his fuel. He actually ended up running out of fuel on this final straight here, he told me after the race, so it's quite possible that I would have overtaken him anyway regardless of the brake boost. But yeah, it was good to get it done on track anyway without having to rely on kind of him running out of fuel. So yeah, like I said, the race didn't go to plan, but at least got something out of it, so quite pleased with that. And so yeah, hopefully you found this video at least somewhat entertaining, even though the race didn't go to plan, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.